I, let me share this. Mm, Okay, so my screen is visible.
Yes, Rohit, it is visible.
Yes. Okay, so now after learning the fundamentals of Python by Samaks, so we are going to start new session of competitive programming in Python. So first of all, I want to say that why competitive programming? Well, because now it is a necessity. So even it is good to know the basics of this competitive programming. So how to manage time and all such factors are now very much necessary because of the increasing competition. And many recruiters have started using this methodology to recruit to fastify the process of recruitment. So let us start. Before that, I want to ask how many of you have done competitive programming before, like even participating in small contests? Anyone here? Even small code chef contest or anything in any language? Have you ever attempted a competitive contest? You can speak because I'm not able to see the messages. Anyone can share their experience, like in college contest or code chef, course, anything. Okay, so I think no one has started anything. Also, like I want to say that in third year now it is the time to start looking this aspect also, because in placements then it can be quite tough challenging in competing, because nowadays in on campus also what we have experienced is that good companies generally take 2 rounds of coding contest to recruit their to fast their process out of 1000 resumes also. So starting with that, if many of you are doing fresh, then I would suggest that start with Python only for competitive programming, because there are many reasons to do so. First is that if you are preparing for the placements, and so in generally core concepts are asked regarding OOPS, solid principles. So it is generally preferable that you use one stack at the time. Don't mess up with many languages, like if you are doing C++ for solving problems and Python for OOPS, so it will not give good impression, and it will also toughen your interview. So generally the interviews are in majorly in two languages, like Python and Java, because most of the interviewees are familiar with these two languages. And also it by Java, the problem with Java is that it is very syntactically rich, so you have to write lots of code for even for small problems, import many libraries to perform small operations or it also. So in this case Python becomes good. And if you are starting want to start your preparations from scratch, like you are introducing yourself to competitive programming and solving problems, so you should take a step in Python. I have shared most of the important resources which helped me during my placements in with respect to Python. So I want to like quickly mention all of them. For learning language, Python language, everything is that, like in college also Python is taught. Therefore, for any notes, you should prefer Gigs for Gigs. I have shared the links itself. Try for this certification in CTQ Software Engineering Certification. It is a test by Infosys. Uh, in this examination, Python and Java are the two choices for the language, and also DBMS is the necessary. They have the good resource collection in this for Python, Java, and DBMS topics like MySQL and all such stuff. Infosys also does placement through this certification, I want to say, for their systems engineering specialist for competitive programming practice. Okay, so there I generally prefer that from the third year I suggest you that you start exploring all the topics of which are covered in competitive programming, like stacks, strings, trees, and all such. So Geeks for Geeks must do interview questions, which is the part of fan series. It is very good. They have collected all the questions, necessary questions, which you have to solve. So like you have 1 year right now, like up to 6 semester, 7 semester. Till then, you can try to solve this if you are willing, if you want to appear for good interviews. Hacker and domain-wise problems. CACS is must to same like Gigs for Gigs. It is also collection only of the problems. And CodeChef DSL learning series is one of the best, I think. So like they have collected only all the categorical wise problems. So there is no time to waste in participating all that long challenges for wasting 10 days in coding. So I think this is one of the best. And I did this some of the parts I appeared next. And to learn data structures and algorithms in deep way, this is the website. It CP algorithms is standard one, and my code school YouTube channel is good for learning number theory types questions and also stuff. Code and code graph series. See, graphs and also stuff are very much important also during technical interviews they ask, and dynamic programming. Regarding the coding good programming contest, which you must appear do to practice also and to participate, is the Google Ash Code and Kickstart. Kickstart is the monthly, quarterly event. It has rounds from A to E. So it is a. These are all ACM style. I say that is only 3 hours contest only, except for Code Vita. Code Vita is 6 hours. ACM style contests are the contest which you will be facing during the placements. So during the placement, they will generally give 3 hours to solve some problems, 3 questions, 4 questions, and out of each, depending on the round, they will select the particular students ahead to the interview. TCS Code Vita is one of the good events. 6 hours contest, 2 rounds are there for digital profile. They directly then recruit through digital and ninja profiles. Infosys Hack within fee for power programmer and all, system specialist. Chef cook. Some of you have appeared before, like it is a 3 hours, 2 hours contest, and lunchtime are 3 hours. And code forces. If you are pro in competitive programming, then code forces is preferable if you have hobby to do so. Okay, so hope you are with me right now, and so these are the resources. I hope that if you want to like challenge yourself and do competitive programming regularly, so try to do this, attempt questions and learn from this, ask teachers and approach like that. Let's discuss about approach for solving a problem. If what to do, what to consider while solving a problem. So my majorly, if we see the problem is a problem consists of three major things. That is the input and input output and the constraints. And first is to understand what is the question, what the question is into. So let's directly jump to an example problem. Okay, so this is the problem. Okay, so I'm starting from an example problem. Uh, so write a program to validate an IPv4 address according to this IPv4 they are explaining in it. IPv4 is an IP address. Zero. This is the code. Okay, this is the IP address we have. Now here we are considering numbers only from 0 to 25. We have to check whether it is valid or not. This IP address is valid or not. Okay, so we have to complete only the function. So in this question, we see they have directly given expected time complexity, and also because it is a practice question, generally this is not provided to you. In the complexity basic analysis. Yes. So this is the problem. Okay, example problem, and this is the input statement and output what they are expecting from you, and these are the constraints. Now this is the important part. If which decides which algorithm you have to use to score good points. Generally, they have the time limit which is of 1 seconds. Here it is given. It depends from compiler to compiler. Okay, so for Python they exceed sometimes. So in n, this is the n which is 10 raised to power 6. So this for understanding like which algorithm to use. For first of all, for solving every problem, we have to approach it by brute force. Brute force is the straightforward solution which you can apply at that moment. Generally, it takes huge time. For example, I have given a one constraint, for example, 10 raised to power 6. Now, suppose that algorithm can be solved, problem can be solved using an algorithm which uses for two for loops, a two nested for loops, which gives you times complexity O(n) square. Now, O(n) square means for the edge case, it will be processing 10 raised to power 12 times variable. Now, you have to understand quickly that within 1 second, 10 raised to power 12 is not possible. It is from 10 raised to power 8 only or 10, depending upon the question. So then you have to start optimizing your program according to the other different kind of complexity and log n and all such, which you will be studying in this semester itself, data structures and algorithms. So n log n and all such, that simple O of n is there, O of 1, all that algorithms. Before that, starting the programming, competitive programming, I want to just say that there are many myths. We see that the coders can write anything they want, like any variable. They do not practice what the standard coding style is preferred for Python or any language. But the platforms have now been becoming more robust and more smart. Like in Codility, what I experienced is that they generally take two standards of programming: correctness and performance. So they generally also see how much the programmer is good with that language, Python for being specific. So I this is the PPAT convention, which some of you may be knowing what is it. It is the standard coding convention of the Python. So with this PPAT are the rules which so the PPAT are the rules and conventions for the Python style guide for Python code. It gives you what the standard variable name and looks like for classes, and also what class name should be, package module name, block comments, inline comments. These are all that stuff you should use while coding. Also, it will be beneficial to you, and also during interviews also, it can help you. So I want to say that how much so most of you joined. So anyone has done competitive programming before any contest they participate? Like just say yes on no problem. Okay, so let's then what I was going to discuss about is more of the like jump to the programming questions. Some of them. So these are the cumulative five programming questions which I chose. So to demonstrate what Python, why Python is quite easy solving this type of questions generally. So first we start with the validating an IP address. So it is the write a program to validate an IPv4 address according to Wikipedia. This is the IPv address code. So our task is to complete the function is valid. Hmm, very close. Where the program there's some problems. Why the link is okay. So hackering problem is available. If you are familiar with the concept of dynamic programming, then it can be attempted. So okay, so this is the problem. A string is said to be a child of another string if it can be formed by deleting zero or more characters from the other string. Letters cannot be rearranged. Given two strings of equal length, what's the longest string that can be constructed such that it is a child of both? Yeah, these type of problems come under the concept of dynamic programming. In further also, like if you have done it before or not, and it can come. This is the example string which they have when the strings have two children, hence named ABC and ABD, formed by eliminating either the D or C from the both the strings. Return 3. So this is the one whose length is 2. So we will. I hope you have understood what the problem is saying in this. We have to eliminate some of the strings, and you can delete zero or more characters from the other strings. Letters cannot be rearranged. And we have, for example, this is the example in which have no characters in common and hence the output is zero. The longest ancient is with NHL. So we have to uh, complete the function here. So we will start doing this right now. So first of all, I am S1 and S2 are the two strings. So we will first find the length of the string. The this is how you have to practice, start practicing in the hacker rank also. So it will help you further in the process. At morning, we have found how to uh, generate the matrix or not. This is the fastest way to get the matrix. DP is our dynamic programming matrix, which is initially and we are starting for loop. So, what the problem does is actually is that we are going to find the longest common subsequence in it. Since we have one condition in it, so we have to cancel one out. We can replace one. So replacing is what we can use the last character of it. So first we have declared the two metrics. Now our DP will store what the similar characters are appearing in the between of it, and we are using the true for loops. Aditya Verma's YouTube channel is very much helpful with it if you want to study about the dynamics programming. There are very much dynamic programming is itself a big concept, but it is starting from knapsack only, and all the problems are interrelated to it. So knapsack is the basic concept of the dynamic programming, coin change, and all such stuff. These are all the part of are linked back to what is the knapsack, fractional knapsack, and all that. The program which we are implementing in this is called as longest common subsequence. So what is the subsequence? Is subsequence means that the letters, the words can be non-contiguous, like in any flow from Harry and Sally. It is given that ay is the common. So the length is 2. Uh, it is called the subsequence. Substring is different concept. Substring means HAR, HA. These are all substring. Now, understanding what the code is saying is that we have made a matrix of the string length, and we have attached one additional word in it. This is the zero. This is the initial. Initial is the zero about before them. So what it does is that in dynamic programming is like recursion only, but in recursion if we give memory stack to it to avoid function repetition uh, in it, so to it eases the time complexity of the problem. In this question, here are the constraints, which is 5,000. So if you think that you can implement it by brute force, so it cannot be possible. It is not possible because it goes beyond 10 raised to power 8. And as we discussed, like it also doesn't use O n square. It uses more than that for solving this kind of problem. So complexity is quite large during brute force. We'll first run some sample test case. Yeah. Oh, hmm. I got some errors in it. to hmm. So S1 input, S2 input, results. Showcase where data results is stored in it. So okay, so like sample are passing. I want to explain like how it what is the meaning of each of this line. Uh, I will need to draw something in it. I will explain it with the table. Okay, so how it works? DPI give you broader idea. You can start. You can understand it afterwards. I am only giving you an idea how this is doing. So you have a two string like one is of length n and one is of length m. Now normally if you want to solve this kind of this if you are normally solving this problem you can understand is that in brute force it goes beyond o(n) square. In limitation you have to find the character single by single wise ay and ay are interconnected, but by using this standard dynamic programming approach it is completed in n square only and n cross m to be specific. So we are at designing a matrix. One is of n plus 1, other one is of n plus 1 length. And our output is here. We are going to display this. So starting the table. So these are all the in recursion. If we design normal recursion algorithm, so how does it work? So in recursion, for example, it will generally match this condition. Okay, if s1 minus 1 is equal to s2 j minus 1. Okay, so y matches, so it takes it. Your stack goes plus 1. And if it does not matches, okay, if it is not matching, then what to do? So it will find this is the dpt stored in generally recursion. It will go two ways, like one recursion stack will go by r, one will go by l, and the likewise it will start incrementing the recursion stack unless both a's are coming same and h and s are completed, so it will get a and y. Now in the recursion tree we will find that most of the process will be repeating. For example, uh, in okay, like Harry and so in Harry and Sally, first one the recursion stack using normal recursion, the match is found which is y. Then it will go by r and l. Then RNL will again process itself to this R will be going somewhere R and L in there, so it will work unless it gets A. So we see that the most of the times the uh, process is being repeated for same positions it is repeating. But if we use dynamic, so here in this point we use dynamic programming to avoid the repetition of steps. This is the process which avoids the repetition of steps. We have to find max value only of the I minus 1 and j and ij minus 1. This is of the string Sally to be considered, and this is of the string Harry. So Like this is the way a normal DP works. For initial, it can be quite confusing, what I'm saying. But these are the common questions. These have become now the common questions in some of the interviews. The DP is now standard. So yes, this is the YouTube channel which I was saying, Aditya Verma Dynamic Programming. This is one of the good collection of the videos of how knapsack and all such stuff works. He uses C++ in these developing algorithms. I suggest you to do with that Python stuff only. Uh, I don't know why this link is broken. Temporarily unavailable. Okay, so next question we try to do encryption. Yeah, so encryption is one of the good question I like because in this there is also use of Python's math package.
Hello, Dhruvik, am I
Yes, ma'am.
audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Dhruvik, unfortunately, our time is
Hmm.
up because the students are already having the session of Ganatra sir at 2 o'clock.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So they need to join the another session. So
Yes.
try to just conclude the sessions in a 5 to 10
Ah,
minutes so that we can
yes,
conclude
ma'am.
this particular meeting, right?
Yes. So see, like you are going to be busy. So now I want to conclude it. I developed this blog only because of this only. I want to give you all the resources like which I faced a difficulty to collect and all. I thought that if I could have got it early. I could have prepared much better. Share with this with your friends. You have got that link, and I have also attached the solution links with it. I These are the five problems like which will help you to understand which functions are included in Python and how to use dictionaries, how to do hashing with the dictionary and solve graphs program and all such stuff. These are all important questions according to me, and you should try to attempt it in Python. If you have any doubts or problems and any want to share something, you can mail me. Okay, then thank you. Okay, ma'am, I'm done.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
It was really very
Hmm.
nice session by you and Samaksh. I hope students have gained the knowledge and grasped the opportunity to understand the things by the senior ones, right? And you guys have already shared your experience in a that was very nice. That now they are in the fifth semester and they are going to prepare for job and the aptitude session and the competitive exams and all other stuffs, right? So it was very informative and knowledgeable session, and it was very tricky session as well. So you have shown so many tricks how to think logically and how to do the programming with Python. So I hope everyone has enjoyed it. Thank you so much, Dhruvik and Samaksh, for giving such a nice session, for delivering such a very nice session.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, for this opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am, for the yeah for the opportunity.
Always welcome. Always welcome. And students, I have already shared the feedback form link with you guys. So you are requested to just give the feedback on this particular session. And you can leave this meeting. And the fifth CSE students are requested to join the link which is shared by Chintal ma'am. That is the interaction with the Ganatra sir. And the CE and IT students can start with the lab and lecture sessions. Okay, thank you all for joining.